How's it going, everybody? My name's Chris Tendo. Welcome back to another episode of Let's Play Super Mario RPG. Before we get started, I just want to say I'm going to be a little lax this episode. This is the not first, not second, not third. This is the 6th time I'm trying to record this freaking episode. I am basically out of energy. So we're gonna be a little chill this time. I promise that in a couple episodes we'll be back to the high energy stuff, but I'm exhausted. Last time, upon returning to the Mushroom Kingdom, we saw that it was under attack from an invasion of enemies called Shymore. Their leader, Clay Morton, or Mac in the original, was after something known as a star piece. He got it and was basically about to leave with it until we stormed in the Chancellor's main hall of the castle and promptly whooped his butt. After saving the Chancellor and getting the star, we noticed the star fly back up into the sky, which we really don't know what the heck that's all about. So, the Chancellor and Mallow suggested that we go back to Tadpole Pond and talk to Mallow's grandfather? Father? I think it's father. Gonna be honest, I don't remember. His elder, we'll just say, and see if we can get some answers about this whole star piece debacle. Today, we're going to be doing just that. Exiting south out of the Mushroom Kingdom will take us to the Kero Sewers, which is just one hop, skip, and a jump away, yes, those are frog puns, to Tadpole Pond. This is the entrance. Grandpa says to watch out for Balome, whoever that is. Probably a little dark down there, so keep alert. A little joke that you can play here is instead of entering the pipe right away, try to leave the screen. But Mario, hold on a sec. I'm not waiting here alone. If you go outside, I go outside. In typical RPG fashion, you can't break up your party. So Mallow tries to follow you. Unfortunately, that scene only plays one time, so can't really do it again. You can press A to enter the pipe or down on the D-pad if it's the first time that you've jumped onto the pipe. Then you can enter it. Save block right here, and we are in our new area, the Kero Sewers. There we go. And this is stuff I already went over. Okay, so first thing I want to mention about the Kero Sewers is its name. The Kero Sewers is a bit of an onomatopoeia in Japan. So Kero is the onomatopoeia for the sound that a frog makes. We would know it as a croak. So these are basically the croak sewers. Yes, the joke of them being attached to the Tadpole Pond is very evident. The next thing we're going to talk about in these sewers is there's a whole buttload of new enemies here. First one we're going to look at is the Cheep Cheep. In the original SNES version, he was called the Gobi enemy. That's the only interesting thing about him. He has a weakness to lightning and really no defenses or anything of note aside from a somewhat decent attack. Pretty much all these guys have going for them is they're gonna ram into you and do fairly decent damage. If there's a group of them, they could gang up on you, but really, you don't have much to worry about. I'm actually gonna defend, and like I said, we're gonna use Thunderbolt. And those are the only new enemies for this area, so we can promptly move along. Up ahead, I can already see some new enemies. We're gonna take this, we can get that ghost's attention there, but we'll get to that when we get to it. Oop, looks like our first new enemy that we're gonna see in this portion. This is the Rat Funk. I love that name. These guys, again, I'm gonna be saying this a lot. I'm gonna try to say it a little less because it's gonna come more common. Really not much to go off of. They have pretty decent speed and an okay attack stat, but they aren't really special anywhere else. They do have two special attacks, however. They have Escape, which we'll probably end up seeing here. Let me actually defend with Mario. There we go. On their turn, they'll literally just run away. That's all it is. We did see the other Rat Funk try to use his other special attack, that being Poison. 1.5 times damage and inflicts a status effect. Luckily, they don't hit too hard, so that 1.5 times status or 1.5 times damage isn't the part of that attack that sucks. We're gonna Thought Peek like always. You can see there they have a weakness to fire and every status effect. But I mean, really, I would say save the FP for enemies that are a little bit harder to take down and just whack on these guys physically. Okay, moving on. The only interesting thing about these guys that I could possibly think of is that they might have a slight resemblance to Mauser, the mouse boss from Super Mario Bros. 2. But that's a loose reference if that's what they're going for here, because it's just a mouse with gloves. They don't even have the sunglasses or bombs or anything that Mauser had, so I don't know, I'm kind of grasping at straws here. That's all that there is in this room, however, with the exception of this chest down here. So you might be thinking, oh, maybe it's going to be another flower. Let's hit it and see what there is. Make sure that you have full FP and full HP before hitting this block. As a matter of fact, I'm going to be proactive. It was a mimic all along. This enemy is what I would consider a pseudo mini-boss because it's a unique encounter. He has a lot more stats than the other enemies that we are facing in this area. And he actually gives us some pretty decent equipment or pretty decent reward, I should say, for defeating him. The Hawat, or otherwise known as the Pandarite, is a chest enemy. We're going to fight, I think, 3 more chest enemies throughout the game, and they're all going to have this same gimmick. High HP, high attack, good defenses, and man, those resistances. They are resistant to pretty much everything except for jump. That is their key weakness. Now the question is, why is he weak to jumping? Wouldn't a chest be fortified so somebody can't just jump on it? I don't know. Personally, I think fire would be the thing that you would want to hit him with, but I don't make the game. Now, they do have a couple spells, a single target flame spell, and then the flame wall spell for multi-target. They're not the things you're going to have to be afraid of. The 2 things you're going to want to worry about are his special attacks. Scream is going to inflict fear on you, and it's unblockable. And Carny Kiss. This is a 2 times damaging attack. Couple that with being inflicted with fear, which will lower your defenses, and unless you get a perfectly timed block, you're going to be taking some serious damage from that. Back to Mario, do another jump. Even without getting the timed hit, you're still going to be doing decent damage. I didn't get it there, and I still hit for, what was that, 60-something? Ooh, okay. See, I blocked, and it still did 9, and I'm not even under the fear status yet. Let's just end this fight once and for all. Get a flower jar for our troubles, and the true form pin. We'll go into this when it becomes a little bit more relevant, but the bio is on screen right now. That is going to be crucial for the end of this dungeon, so really make sure that you're fighting these guys. 2 or 3 jumps and he goes down, so it's not too difficult, but if you didn't use Thought Peek and you're just playing the game willy-nilly thinking, oh, I'll just wail on him, That fight could actually be pretty difficult. What isn't difficult is this. Free Starman right in there, and we can, oh, boo. Oh, sweet. Can I hit him, can I hit him, can I hit him? Yes! Every time I've done this beforehand, I've only managed to get 5 enemies on screen there, but I was able to get a 6th one. And I just realized that there was an enemy there that I probably should have went over, so we're actually gonna go back. Oh, okay. Not the enemy I was looking for, but one that we still need to go over. This is Shadow. Shadow is a bit on the frailer side defensively, but has a little more HP than most of the enemies that we're going to be seeing, and again, a good physical attack stat. No spells to speak of, but he does have access to a new move, Endo Bubble, which, much like Scream that we saw on the Hawat, just inflicts fear and it's unblockable. He also has Glowing Shot, kind of like Carny Kiss. It is a 2x damage attack, so watch out for that. But with their frail defenses, really not much to worry about. Just don't try jumping on them. I guess it would make sense considering they're an ethereal being, but while they're not immune to jump like spiky enemies, they definitely resist it. So if you're gonna use anything, use fire or Mallow's lightning. But I would just recommend instead you just use physical attacks. Oh, I think that's the first time we've seen once again. Interesting. Okay, use Thought Peek on Mallow, see what he's got going on in that head of his. Aw, that's very kind of you. But it's time to die. And I'm just gonna keep going here. I went back to the room with the boos after leaving the dungeon, and they did not respawn, so we're just gonna continue onward like nothing ever happened. I believe it was this pipe right here. And I'm actually gonna fight these guys and see if I can get any of the new enemies that I've yet to encounter, so fingers crossed. There we go, first try. So we've seen these rat punks before, but the new enemy up in this fight, I don't know why I worded like that, up in this fight, is the Hobgoblin. The Hobgoblin, unlike the Shadow, is a bit more on the physically tanky side. He has 2 new moves, again, kind of a theme of this dungeon, in Dark Claw, which is almost identical to the poison that the rat funk has, 1.5 times damage and inflicts poison, but he also has Elegy. This is more dangerous. He has more physical defense than most enemies here, but he can inflict you with Mute, making it to where you can't hit him with magic. That's actually pretty dangerous right there. I say dangerous loosely, like in quotes, because this enemy doesn't really have much that he can do solo to kill you, but in a group, watch out, he could do something mean. Yep, speak of the devil. Oh, you are not the one that I wanted you to do that to. And I don't have any able juice. Well, I guess I'm gonna be getting the Thought Peek another day. Oh, perfect timing. I always forget about this. The pure waters that you get from killing the ghost enemies. Perfect timing. All right, get rid of you first and foremost. And get the Thought Peek. And I screwed up the timing. Okay, we're gonna do this. Oh yeah, I guess I should have talked about their weakness. So they used to have a weakness to fire. Let me actually get this off just before. Okay. They used to have a weakness to fire. I don't know why, but the remake changed their weakness to jump. Such a strange thing. I forgot which weakness I put up for the bio. I want to say it was jump. You already saw the bio, so you know. But very interesting. It's like one of the few, if maybe the only time in the game that an entire weakness has been changed. Okay, back to what I was saying. The pure water, you're gonna want to save. What they do is they're essentially an instant kill to a single ghost enemy, just undead enemy types. That's a pretty niche thing. What you're gonna want to do instead is you're gonna want to hold on to those. They sell for a high price. Moving on to what we're seeing on screen right now, Mario just learned Super Jump. This is the next level of Mario's, I guess, power scaling for his spells. And it's good, but I'll tell you right now, you're not going to be using Super Jump for damage. You're going to be using Super Jump for something else. We'll get to that later. Okay, I think there's only one more enemy here I need to fight. I don't think you're going to give me the spawn for that, so we're going to do this. Okay, perfect. From here, don't fall in the water. If you fall in the water, that's going to be really bad, and you're going to have to restart the whole dungeon, because falling in the water sends you back to the beginning. So we're going to jump up here, jump over him, and go down this tunnel right here. Perfect. This is exactly what I wanted to see, too. Oh, the gang's all here. Our final enemy that we're going to be talking about is Boo. Kind of interesting that all the ghosts that we found are new, and then we're ending on the classic one. Boo is, out of all the ghosts that we're seeing, a bit of a mage, kind of on the frail side. And he is actually not weak to the fear status effect, given that Boos have always been sort of the scary things in the Mario series, literally getting Luigi's Mansion dedicated to them. But they are they have access to lightning spells. Now, we've seen it with Mallow, but they have access to the first enemy lightning spells that we'll be seeing. They're both low damage, single target, so really not much to worry about. The more scary thing about them, much like with the Hawat, is that they have access to Scream, so they can inflict fear on you. It's really not a threat on their own, but when they're in a group, again, that's where the real issue comes in. Okay, get the top peek on him. I just realized I did that twice in a row. I am so scatterbrained, I'm just trying to make sure this recording goes well. Okay, well, now that we got that, we can actually see Lightning Orb. And just keep wailing away. Yeah, I'll save my effort. Okay. Yes, I'm always going to pick yes. There's no reason why you shouldn't. I think that's the middle. Yes. Okay, and with that, let's hit this big old button, see what this does. All the water that was on the first floor of the dungeon has now been drained. This pipe right here doesn't lead us anywhere new, but this pipe, this is where we're gonna wanna go. Hit this for a refresh, and then hit the save block. I don't like to save during recording sessions just because you never know what's gonna happen, but considering we were about to have a boss fight, probably a good idea to save. Now, since I said we're about to have a boss fight, let's check our equipment. For Mario, I recommend the True Form pin. you don't want Mario to be using his specials in this fight. You're going to want to save that for Mallow. So, because we don't really know what mushrooms or scarecrows do just yet, I'm going to hold off on that. But just know that you're going to want to put this on him. And then you're going to switch to the wake up pin for Mallow. Okay, with all that being said. Okay, just wanted to make sure full FP. You know what? I am full, but I'm going to use my flower jar just to give myself a little bit more. Cool. Now, let's go. This must be Bellome. Is that a fire hose or his tongue?
It's a snack attack, and you're it.
This is our next quote-unquote boss encounter. He definitely has the HP bar to be considered a boss, but oddly enough, his other stats are really just on par with everything else in this dungeon. Like high 20s, 30s-ish. Like, he's not the scariest. It's what else he can do that's scary. So first thing I'm going to want to do is defend and then just get that thought peak off right away. So we can see here, weakness to lightning, but again, resistance to sleep of all things. We don't have sleep, so I don't, look, I don't know. I've said this before, I don't get why they make things resistant to status effects that we can't have by the time that we get to the one-off fight. Very weird, but whatever.
Oh. Room service has been kind to me. Where's my bib?
And, okay, block that, nice. So, Bellome's trick, if you will, is that he knows two new moves. Sleep Sauce, which will inflict sleep. Oh my gosh, big shocker. And Scarecrow Funk, or Scrow Funk. This is the move you're going to want to watch out for. While both of these don't do damage, they are both unblockable. Sleep status means that until you take a physical hit, either for the rest of the fight or for a set number of turns, I don't remember, you can't do anything. You just get your turn skipped. Scarecrow may seem less detrimental, but can actually be more detrimental if you kind of think about it a little more. Scarecrow makes it to where you can't use either physical attacks or your items. You can think, well, I'm still using my specials. Yes. This is why I wanted Mario to be immune to being Scarecrowed and Mallow to not. Because Mallow is the one that's using lightning, which is what he's weak to. So if Mallow ends up getting Scarecrowed, he is still going to be doing the only thing I want him to do in the fight. If Mario gets Scarecrowed, there goes all your FP on something that Bellome is weak to. Now you're starting to see my strategy a little bit. Not really much else we can do in this fight. I mean, just hit with Mario and then Thunderbolt with Mallow. I guess the one thing I want to talk about...
Can't stand it. The hunger. The hunger.
Well, I guess this goes into what I would consider phase 2. So, I think it's always Mallow. It has almost never been Mario for me, but feel free to correct me if I'm wrong. About halfway through the fight, he will eat Mallow. This doesn't damage him or kill him or anything. It just makes this basically a one-on-one fight. If Mario was inflicted with Scarecrow, that means that you would be wasting all your FP, and since you can't use items, that essentially makes it where you can only use the defend command if you run out. Now you really see why I said, hey, you should make sure Mario can't be Scarecrowed. Oh, and here we go.
Stick for a body. Head full of straw. Give me a scarecrow. Rah, rah, rah.
Oh my gosh, I've thrown my voice out trying to do this voice for him. Right there, we can see that we were immune to it because of the true form pin that we have. Really, really good item to get. Make sure that you get that before going to this fight, because otherwise it will be more of a pain than you think. Nice block. And you know what? Just because it's a boss fight, we're not in any danger. I could keep wailing on him. I kind of want to see what we can get Toad Assist to do. We're not going to have Toad Assist for very much longer, so I figured might as well get as much use out of it as we can because I've had that gauge at 100% for a little while now. Okay, if I can get... I either want the yellow syrupy jar or the rock crystal looking thing. Oh, cool. We get a flower essence, which is a full FP recovery and an attack up. So now, Joey Skewy. Now, not only does Mallow have more ammo in the chamber to work with, but Mario was able to hit a little bit harder there with his physical attack. Okay, that's not good. Mario may have been immune to Scarecrow, but he was still susceptible to sleep. So what I'm actually going to do... Never mind, I thought I could hit him with Mallow. I guess this game isn't as sophisticated as Final Fantasy after all. We can see right there, though, if you can perfectly time it even when you're asleep, you take no damage, and you wake up. Nice, nice. Oh, and that's the fight.
You think you've won? Little did you know. I'm all that's stopping a flood of water. So long, Soakies.
Oh, come on. 2 points away from Mallow. Hello must have been lying when he said water would come gushing out of here. Mario, did you hear something, or is it just me? Water! Here it comes! We need to switch it back before we're washed away! This is the Midas River course. Want to crash course on it? As much as I love the pun, we're gonna say no, because the controls are really simple. We can even see them on the bottom left. You can do left or right to move, well, left or right. And then you can rhythmically tap the jump button, or B in my case, to try to get a little bit of air. And if you rapidly press it 3 times, you can get a teeny bit back up the waterfall before falling down. So it's sort of a last-ditch effort. You can't climb it for good. You will actually lose momentum the more that you do. Okay, back on the course. So the real goal of this is you're just trying to get as many frog coins and, well, regular coins as you can. And trying to just pick whichever route you think is gonna yield the best results. We can see here, if you follow my route, you're actually going to get more than just a coin-based reward. Let's see if I can grab you, yes. And then we're gonna go in here, we're gonna get an actually nice reward. I mean, coins are nice if I'm being honest. Frog coins are really nice, but we don't know what for just yet. Maybe something in the near future will tell us why we want frog coins. But regardless, in this area, we are going to witness a fish get skewered in the belly. That's pretty morbid. But after this whole fight for this flower happens, we are the victor walking away with it. And that is an actual flower. We will walk away with 1 higher FP point, which is very, very nice. Okay, continuing on, holding right there, you can manage to get both those coins. Grab this frog coin here. Try to just zigzag as best you can. And what you're really gonna wanna do here is you're gonna wanna aim this way. all the way to the right. And, oh, I can never get that frog coin. You gotta be really proactive to get that one. Go this way, and up, up, up. Okay. This is another, I guess, cave entrance you're really gonna wanna go into, because right in the beginning, you get your flower. So we're walking away from this whole mandatory sequence with 2 free flower points. And after that 3rd cave, I think that's the end of Sequence 1. Sequence 2 is honestly more fun in my opinion. Now for the barrel jumping event. Need some pointers? No, thank you. So this is much more simple. All you're doing is pressing the jump button. You're trying to jump to get as many coins as you can. If you jump to the next barrel, you stay in the line you're currently on. If you hit the barrel in front of you, ow, then you will bump over to the next line, and you're also trying to jump to dodge the fish. I may have already screwed up, but there is a reward for getting a high number of coins at the end of this event. And my biggest piece of advice I can give you is when you switch lanes like this, never go for that first coin. Always skip it and then jump and get the next 3. The reason for this is because when you jump and switch lanes, for some reason, Mario, oh, gosh darn it, Mario he has a delay in his jump, so it's like he doesn't want to read your command, and I just find myself always jumping in between the darn things instead of actually jumping to get them. Like right there, skip, and then get these next 3. Okay, dodge the fish. Ooh, I'm gonna be cutting it close here. Wasn't that fun? Oh, come on! Wasn't that fun? You got 57 coins. Trade the coins you got from the Midas River for frog coins. We needed 60 to get a free frog coin. I know it's only 1, and that this was all a bunch of work simply for something we could have gotten just from a special enemy. But I really wanted it. He'll hold on to those and bank them for the next time that we do this. And we'll get a little something extra that we can keep for good luck. The Koopa Shell. Originally known as the Knock Knock Shell, this is the next upgrade for Mario's weapon tiers. On screen right now. Look at it in all its green shelly glory. And let's equip it. It's going to be a 10-point attack boost. Very, very nice. And with all of that, we've made it to the Midas River and the Tadpole Pond. I'm gonna call it an episode here. Real quick, I just want to say thank you for letting me have a bit of a mellow episode. I have had a nightmare of recording problems trying to get this specific episode out. I record my episodes, and they usually end up being about 30 to 40 minutes long. For some reason, I have been having issues with my recording software freezing after about 25 minutes, almost on the dot. Just to get the tech jargon out of the way, I am recording this series at 1080p 60 FPS using an Elgato HD 60S. And I am using the most recent version of Game Capture HD, which is the program that Elgato has. I think that I was bottlenecking Game Capture HD by recording this game for as long as I have been at the specs that I was. I decided, let me do a little research. I looked into it and I found out that they make a higher end program that is made for 4K gaming. I was like, okay, let's give that a try. I recorded for an hour straight, no freezing, skipping, or anything. I was probably bottlenecking the previous program because I'm using the same settings, same capture device, and I've had no issues. I'm still going to keep Game Capture HD in my back pocket for 30 FPS recording because that's what I'd used for every other thing prior to Mario RPG. But because I decided to record those games at 30 FPS, I don't know why I recorded Breath of the Wild at 30 FPS. I was kind of stupid on my part. but now I'm using 60 FPS. I think it was bottlenecking it, because it's not my computer. My computer is definitely good enough to handle this whole recording system. I checked Task Manager, and it was at like 19% overall usage when I recorded, so hopefully I never have an issue like this going into the future, because oh my god, I was tired. Speaking of tired, I'm tired of talking. You're probably tired of hearing me babble, so I'm going to end the episode here. Thank you all so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed the episode. If you did, please like, comment, and subscribe. And as always, I will see you guys next time at Tadpole Pond. Oh my goodness.